Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Well, let's go in and fix a few things here first. Gotta go back and change the titles and stuff. Here's my YouTube. We'll change this. Titles. Update all. Okay, and no. I think that's the link. It hasn't shown me like it updated yet. But... Hello. Oh wait, this is not right. Let's refresh the page. Okay, that's right. Yes. Yes. Okay. I sound stupid. Okay. So there's the YouTube link, and there is the Twitch link. Right there, folks. And let's refresh Twitch too. Turn on the live squawk. Don't need that anymore. Good deal. Okay, so the E-mini kind of oscillated back and forth last night. Pretty much still in the range that it was. We had a good consolidation yesterday, so we could continue moving up. I like it. Treasuries continue to fall. Very strong down move. So I think we're going to get some more of this, like, Treasuries kind of don't want to move during the session, but then when all of the day traders go away, it moves to where it's supposed to go. Really seems to me like what happens. That's just kind of how it's been going. Also, let's see here. I do believe we have some news today, right? Today's Wednesday. Oh, we got an FOMC member speaking. Let's see here. Due to speak about the economy and monetary policy at the Discover Financial Services Company meeting in Illinois. Audience questions expected. That would be at the top of the hour. The Canadians are doing their Bank of Canada monetary report and statement. Crude oil inventories on a 10-year bond auction. Okay. So what we're really looking for is the rate lock today. All right. We are at the lows of the day, so I'm wondering, if I was doing an auction today, would I be looking for a lower price down here? I don't know. We usually move up. I am going to favor longs, I guess. Let's see here. What do you guys come talking about here? It's about Powell this week. Some trade talks weighing, and today's focus is on FOMC minutes. Yes. Wow. That's amazing, John. Wow. Oh yeah, let's open back up Restream. What do we got going on here in equities? Whew. Man, Zerv stayed in that the whole time. till 9. So he was in that, sitting there watching that for like 10 hours. But he made a profit. Good for you, man. Yeah, sometimes when it doesn't come up to the thing, you just gotta take it off. Okay. We're just gonna try it. We're gonna try it. Nope, it still doesn't work. Yeah. Well, that's different. So they changed something. Dashboard. Oh, cool. Just takes me over to here. Live. I wish that the restream chat showed the number. Oh, it actually, they fixed it. Oh my gosh, guys, look. 3. It shows me oh no, wait. It shows me 3. No, that's not right. There's not 3 on Twitch. Unsupported. Well, look, that's not what's going on right now. Oh no, wait, there are 5 people on Twitch. There are 5 people on Twitch, and there's actually less people on YouTube. That is unusual. Well, thank you guys on Twitch for watching. You're probably going to get bored because all we do is trade. But if you want to make some money, we can teach you how. And always check the Discord because the most interesting conversation happens in Discord. That's where the serious conversation happens. The YouTube and Twitch conversation is just for spamming and for making fun of the idiots that come in and claim that they're buying Bitcoin when they're really not. Interesting that we had a big push down in Bitcoin and now flat, and the cumulative delta is maybe turning around at Bitcoin. They haven't gotten to 4,200 yet, though. So you kind of gotta wonder. Well, Iceberg gets 16.5. Interesting. I don't have anything drawn. Oh, I go way down here. We're kind of in no man's land, aren't we? Yeah. Well. I don't know. These treasury auction days are always a little tricky. You know what I mean? I wonder why it can't show me how many YouTube viewers there are. That's just kind of weird. Well, let's see what Politico, let's see NBC has up. Yeah. Constellation Brands stocks sink 11. Okay, nobody knows who that is. Fitch warns of possible cut to U.S. AAA rating if shutdown continues. Is this a different one that downgraded us that earlier time? 19th day. So we still aren't the longest shutdown, right? Let's see here. List of federal shutdowns. Oh, yes. Obama only had one actual shutdown, but they actually had battle over it many times, right? President Reagan had many. Bill Clinton had 2. 2013. State and territory
Sanders saying the administration is still looking at a national emergency option.
Oh.
Just be aware as well, whilst we're now expecting Q&A from Fed's Bostich, at the top of the hour we'll also hear from Fed's non-voter Evans, who's also speaking on the economy and monetary policy. Text is to be released there as well.
Ongoing 1 day, 16, 21 days. So the Bill Clinton shutdown was 21 days, and we're on like day 19. So we're almost there. We'll be there by the end of the week, right? Okay. Yeah. Anyways. There needs to be some fiscal adjustment. Well, can you imagine if they were in Congress right now trying to reduce spending? Right? We're having a shutdown just over the wall, but if they were actually trying to find cuts in the budget to make things more equal, wow, what a mess that would be. I can't even imagine. Okay. Rod Robinson, who oversees Mueller probe, plans to leave Justice Department.
Get involved in the discussion on the Trump wall. It's an internal U.S. political matter. Again, keeping an eye on these comments from DUP's Wilson, but it's a repeat of what we've heard from them.
Yeah, the declaring a national emergency over border security is definitely, let's say, a slippery slope. Granted, remember that when there was all those people, they had that first border rush under Obama, and he declared a national emergency over it. Or like didn't he declared a national emergency, didn't he? Maybe it was that it was just a humanitarian crisis, but like they had to do stuff to take care of it. It was like a big mess. And that kind of set the stage for the ones that we've been seeing this year. But I think that if you declare a national emergency and use that to build the wall, do a run around Congress, you're kind of setting a dangerous precedent, aren't you? I'm not 100% sure how that would get abused, but something I would rather not see. So this is the slowest we've seen.
Trump-Powell meeting.
Probably the slowest it been. Super slow. There's an iceberg there, 5,000 at 16.5. And it's taken 10 minutes to get it. Now that it's past 6:30, maybe a few extra strategies are going to be trading now, but yeah, this don't look good. Yeah. Well, what else we got here? Oracle. Few more orders went through there. Notice, though, that the 5-year is actually buying here. Has the spread been moving? Yeah, the spread is down towards the bottom. I think we may move up here. We may move up. We may even get like a little bit of a head fake and a move up.
As we do see Fed's Bostic speaking in Tennessee, we have put a link on our board where you can click and see him speaking live, given he will be taking questions and answers.
Oh, we're gonna get to be able to watch. Well, I like that. Here's somebody in the Facebook group asking how to trade futures, and I'm like, you have to ask a Facebook group, you're in trouble.
Bostic currently being asked the impact of the federal shutdown on US economic data.
Well, so what happened here? It actually ticked up and then back down, and only 25 have gone into it? I don't know. I mean, I think that is a good recipe to buy, but it is so slow. It is probably just not worth trading right now. Probably just not worth taking a trade.
Shutdown, of course, it depends on how long it lasts, but it's for now been a relatively short period of time, and it's only affecting very specific sectors such as housing assistance.
Yeah.
Just in energy news as well, hearing that there may be a press conference with Saudi's Energy Minister Al Fali following the reserves data, so we'll keep an eye on that.
So there's maybe actually a little bit of pulling going on here now. Just a little bit. Sometimes when you have a really dead period like this, it sets up a really good continuation trade.
If the shutdown extends further, it may affect household spending, retail sales, as well as business outlook.
How long? That's the big question. How long do you think it takes before one side or the other starts saying this isn't worth it? I think that Donald Trump has more at stake here, so I think that he's willing to receive more pressure. But that may also be countered by the Democrats having the ability to put more pressure on him because he's owning the shutdown. So it's really hard to say who would actually give in first. It's just like trading, like when you're talking about how much pressure you can receive, that's like limit orders, right? We got big old 10K orders down here.
Shutdowns impact on data given data dependent approach.
Let's try it. And then, the pressure that you're given, like the amount of pressure from like news media and public opinion are like your market orders, right? So which side gives in first? I don't know. I can't predict. I can't predict. And how long would it take? At what point would they do it? Are they going to do it before Friday? Because there's like people aren't going to get paid Friday, right? And in order for them to get something through by Friday, I would think that it would need to already be started.
Saying, surprised the amendment to the Brexit procedure was selected. Our advice was that it would not be in order. Says the government will vote against the amendment on the Brexit procedure, and the government always planned to seek to provide certainty quickly if the Brexit vote was lost.
Okay, well, if this goes through, we're just gonna let it go because it's still being very slow even after the uptick. I do think the 5-year is probably going to tick up again, given that we've had 1,400 orders trade through, and the offer is weak. They are going to try and clear it. Usually they would try and clear it. But that doesn't mean that we won't get a downtick of some sort and get filled. But you also don't want to buy it there and get stuck at 18. So we may tick up there and then find that 18 doesn't want to give. 17.5 has been the upper end of the range here as well, so buying 17.5 would be ill-advised because of its position within the range. I don't want to say ill-advised, but according to my Bitcoin is a scam. Well, okay. There's that effing phone that dials once and then hangs up. I mean, a scam would be like an intentional effort to defraud you, organized by an individual.
Growth in labor productivity is putting a ceiling on the rate of economic growth to an extent.
Not everybody involved in Bitcoin is involved in some conspiracy, so to call it a scam wouldn't be very accurate. But so I think it would be more accurate to say is but how can we put this? The current prospects in Bitcoin are very weak, right? I still think it would go to 2,000, in my opinion. That's the number that I'm looking for. And I base that just on the transactions happening on the blockchain. Okay, well, they went without us. But it was just like I was worried. There's no pulling at 18 yet. The 5-year actually having trouble getting through 7 3/4. May actually get a tick down, or we may go back and forth here a little bit. Anyways, I mean, I cannot recommend buying Bitcoin right now. When it gets down to 2,000, I think that there could be a good opportunity, but then there's no guarantee that there's going to be another run in Bitcoin, and especially in Bitcoin Core, given that they still have not increased their block size, and therefore still have trouble. Okay, they pulled at 18, so maybe we could continue going. But I need to stay firm about which kind of prices I can take and which kind of prices I can't. So we just missed this one. Just kind of missed this one. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, we'll keep that there. I mean, maybe later on we come back to that. And we could pull an easy tick, so we'll leave that there. Anyways,
Wall Street saying the trade tensions and China are impacting business uncertainty to an extent. Notes that surveys with business leaders, they're taking a pause and wait and see approach, if you like, to these investment decisions.
If you are a retailer and you want to use Bitcoin, you want people to be able to pay for things in Bitcoin, why would you use Bitcoin Core? There's absolutely no reason to use Bitcoin Core at this time. You're much better off probably using Bitcoin Cash because they have the best transacting bandwidth right now because of how large their block size are. You could do Ethereum, but like Ethereum had problems when CryptoKitties was going on too, right? It took a long time to get transacted. So really, this block size thing is a really big problem for Bitcoin adoption. And a large portion of the market, for whatever bizarre reason, I think mostly it was like they were invested in Bitcoin, and so they're sticking with the Bitcoin view of things, even though it doesn't make sense. But this market is all in on this Lightning thing. And so until Lightning
Saudi Arabia
is like works,
over $19 billion for the planned dual tranche dollar bond.
Until Lightning is usable by consumers, there is no reason for a retailer to adopt them. And so that means there's people not using Bitcoin. And if they're not using Bitcoin, then the only reason to be in it is speculation. Right? And if the only reason to be in it is in speculation, why would you buy it right now when we've just had a huge bear market and there's no real indication that it's done? You know what I mean? Like, your risk reward here for buying is still not good enough. There's still too many people holding it. And like I said, trading is all about predicting changes in the future supply and demand. The thing that makes Bitcoin a good trade is that it's actually very easy to determine if how the future supply and demand is going to change. And the problem that we have right now is that there's not going to be much new demand coming into Bitcoin in the near future because retailers aren't picking it up.
We're seeing equities on the upward trend. We are seeing the VIX briefly falling below its long-term average, if you like, about 20. That's for the first time since December the 7th.
Oh, good deal. The general public is very sour on Bitcoin right now, so they're not going to be new people coming in.
Saudi Arabia is setting the price guidance at 185 bips area over US Treasuries for the 2029 bond, 235 bips area over US Treasuries for the 2050 bond.
And in terms of supply, well, you've got all of these people that are holding it that, if they don't make money, are going to sell. So, I don't think it's accurate to say that Bitcoin is a scam, but I definitely would not recommend people buy Bitcoin right now. You know? But at some point, in some situations, there is some utility to it, right? You can buy a bunch of Bitcoin and send it to somebody, and then they could try and, change it back into cash. And the market is reasonably liquid enough to be able to do that sort of a thing, and that's useful. So I wouldn't call it a scam, but yeah, wouldn't buy it. Wouldn't buy it. Good morning though. Kind of see, people coming in and out. Do you think there is a pattern? Oh, is this guy? Why is it still showing me that? That's interesting. So I don't see it on YouTube, but the bot still sees the spam. Don't click that link. That link is an executable disguised as a screensaver. and it looks like maybe it's an image and I just need to like save it to my computer so that it's like the right, and then my computer will know what program to open it with. No, 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 no. It's they're trying to trick you into opening it. So don't open that link. It is not a picture. Nope. In fact, when I even just tried to click the link, like I didn't never actually save it, but just clicking the link and all of my security software blocked it. So it's probably not even, it's probably like a well-known worm that, you know, the script kiddies pass around, and this idiot thinks he's clever, but if you have taken even the most basic security measures, shouldn't say that, somebody's going to go and hack me now. I'm sure that there's always going to be some way to get in, right? Well, they've been trading into 18.5 here now for quite some time. The move up was a really good move up. I think I would have to take the +3 because it still has been slow, and so 3 is probably the most you want to expect. Should watch here to see if we get a huge iceberg here or not. I mean, this is point of control. Would not be surprised if somebody was putting in a rate lock if you just put it there. Perhaps. So another thing I'm noticing is that the level 2 here has become extremely unbalanced. Let's talk about this in chat. You know, there was a good strong trend up, but you're talking about 4 ticks.
Maelstrom saying the EU is worried about some of China's trade practices.
Yeah. See, they had strong movement up, and now it's flattening off. Now, if we're going to so the spread is kind of towards the lower end, but notice that the 5-year did not actually move up more than the 10 and the 30. They all moved close to an equal amount. Well, the 30, it is sloping downwards. I think I reset them all at the right time. So I
The
have
equity space
to.
further downgrades by brokers on Apple stock, remaining a hold by HSBC, cutting the price target to 160 from 200.
See that? Like that? It's sloping down. So if we move down, in order for this spread to go up, the 30 would have to go more. So a short here at 17 might be appropriate in ZB. But every time that I touch ZB, I screwed up. So let's just put that in our heads and see.
Has contributed to that.
I'm really excited about this one strategy that we've been working on. It looks like it works really well. Oh, why did we get okay, that's just the big sell that we have.
Saying the EU won't include agricultural in the US trade talks.
I tell you, so I have these cumulative delta indicators on here, right? So here's like the actual cumulative delta, but then I have the change, and this one is marked by commitment of traders, and this one is marked by uptick downtick. So you can see the one that does it by uptick downtick saw that there was like a ton of selling that never actually ticked down. You see that big outlier right there?
Speech in Tennessee. Just a reminder, in just over 5 minutes time we'll hear from Fed's Evans, who's speaking on the economy and monetary policy. There will be text to be released and Q&A.
But when you look at
saying that
these two, you don't see
not to face US car tariffs. To repeat, Maelstrom saying EU expecting not to face US car tariffs.
Also note where we're at on this RVI, which could be an indication that it's time to flip and go short here. Maybe too late. I think so. Because I have this order down here. Okay. Let's see, we would need something to pull at 17.5 probably to really see this flip around. I mean, if there's like iceberging at 17.5, then that would be a big problem. Yeah, a decent amount of people also went in on the limited 18. So that's interesting. I am seeing the cumulative delta in the 5-year turnaround.
Maelstrom saying the EU is willing to include cars in the US trade talks.
Oh. And now that is, I've been saying with the trade talks, well, we've kind of been known for a while that they kind of want to make a deal, or that they were sounding more positive on making a deal. But now talking about including cars, I think that's a very significant development. Because the cars thing is a very sore spot for America. Oh, well, I traded up. This 17.5 is looking awfully thick. Kind of at the point now where the E-mini might start doing some stuff. If they sell, that would definitely hurt our trade. Oh, they've built up 3,000 now at our price. but not a lot of people buying at 18.5. That sucks because I think I would much rather be short from 18.5 than 18. But let's just see what happens. Okay.
Some of the wires picking up on some of the previous comments from Buster saying I need to check my outlook for the change given the stock market. The stock market will not necessarily force me to change my outlook.
They won't force me to change my
saying
outlook.
the EU-US have not yet agreed on the scope of trade talks.
So it's still relatively balanced around 18.5. And I will add that there was not super strong buying there. So if they push it through here, they're going to have to actively push it.
Fed's Evans saying inflation expectations not risen as much as he expected, sees inflation averaging just above 2% over the next 3 years, saying the Fed has the capacity to wait and take stock of the incoming data, noting the first half of 2019 is important for assessing Fed policy. Evans' baseline sees US growth a bit above 2% in 2019.
Okay, well, they took 19 with
saying the EU remains
barely
all
anything.
industrial goods, including autos, in trade talks with the US.
So this looks to me like we're getting squeezed. And maybe it's almost like, oh, they're watching and he's picking us out specifically. Sure, kind of what it feels like. But nothing trading into 19.5. That's really interesting. Aha. Yeah, I thought that would happen.
Evans also expecting the Fed funds to eventually rise to the 3 to 3.25% range.
They pulled that 19.5 like really hard, and hardly any orders went through.
Energy News Reuters sources saying the ExxonMobil Beaumont, Texas refinery restart may stretch to next week.
See, that's really strong pulling.
Evans also says the downside risk has been increased by the market turmoil and trade war.
Well, I do want out, but I'm just not. I just don't want the 19.5. it doesn't make sense to me to see something where they're pulling to 500 and they have to pull to 500 to get 800 orders to go through. I think is a little bit silly. I think that there's a good chance that I can get 19. And if not, that's okay. See? They're not doing it. It the thing is, let me type. Okay. Hmm. Don't tell me UC. Worry about yourself, dude. I'm not going to take a I'm not going to stop out on a pull. That's all.
Mushroom saying the EU, US, and Japan to also discuss the WTO rulebook update to address some of China's trade practices.
It looks like the E-mini's coming down a little bit. And they could go all the way back to 25.75. That would push us up a lot. So now that they're willing to bid that much in 19.5, I'm just a little puzzled that there's just still so little volume going through.
FedZev is also saying tighter financial conditions may be healthy recalibration after earlier optimism. Sees unemployment falling towards 3.5%, a bit higher by the end of 2021, and sees inflation near the target in 2019, a bit above in 2020/2021.
Worry about your own trades, dude.
Sees growing risks, but still expects US rates to rise a bit above neutral if they dissipate. Trump tweets here as well.
Oh. Our country is going so well in so many ways. Great jobs numbers with record-setting December. We are rebuilding our military vets. Finally have choice and accountability. Economy and GDP are strong. Tax and regulations. Got historic trade deals. Great, but we must fix our southern border. Okay. Well, ZF's still not getting a strong offer at 087. Nothing hitting into 085. The ZB bid is still kind of holding there. I think our stop still might get triggered. It's kind of something that happens where maybe you had the right price. So I was one off. I think that the right price to sell this would have been 18.5, right? But then you have to consider where your stop is going to be. And sometimes you don't really know where. Oh man, look at that. That's a very, very strong. Okay. So I'm a little skeptical now all of a sudden. Normally that kind of the thing would be a continuation, like you could buy 20 half. But it's not behaving right.
Just be aware, as we hear via Jack Maidment on Twitter, the vote on the Grieve Amendment is now underway. The result is due in around 15 minutes.
I don't know. Now, ZB is not stopping. That is the one I think you're going to see ZB move up more than the others. No. No, you should see ZF move up more than the others if the spread is going to go up. Okay. Now the thing is, I'm just kind of looking at it here, because was such a strong bid on the uptick. You have a potential flip, or you're getting a real trend. And if you're getting a real trend, there is a good target on the DOM at 22, right? So there is a reasonable case to be made for a continuation by 20 and take 22, right? And Ace Trades went short at 82. Yeah, given the range, that would make sense. So one of the things that I'm watching too was, at the time, I remember I said, well, the E-mini might move down here and that would push us up. But we did not move up because of the E-mini, did we? See, that bid is still not giving up. No. The thing is that the stacking and pulling behavior has subsided. Okay. So it was not cleared by one big guy. Seen that? It's like now that they're willing to buy it, maybe now he flips it. This is the last few ticks was the guy just took it. Now it's a bunch of little orders. And there was actually a little bit of a sell there. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, now 21 is looking a little weak. Yeah. Not the best bid, but about what it's been doing. Robot just puked down there. Ooh, wait a second. Hmm. That machine gun is selling 5 lots, and the bid is just holding. Man, I tell you what, today would have been very, very different if I had gotten filled at 17, wouldn't it? I think that's a problem I have is like sometimes you'll have a trade that doesn't get filled or you missed or something, and then it's like you start tilting or something. Look at that. Okay, so they sold only about 900. Now that bid is puffing up. E-mini still hasn't really moved. I think you might still see a move down to 25.75, and that could help us. $10.66 was bought at 12. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Anyone else want egg sandwiches? You know what? I actually like egg salad. My mom used to make egg salad sandwiches like almost every day. But now I have a lot of eggs for breakfast, so I think I got like my egg quotient for the day. On toast. This could keep. I mean, 22. When I said, "Hey, there's a good target at 22," remember? And I took it out one tick before that. Maybe you should have been more patient, but the seller did sell 21.5. Maybe was profit taking. You can come back to like, yeah. This ledge here is a lot bigger than I realized too. So are they going to step over the edge? Some people are willing to sell it. Yeah. or at least willing to get out before it goes. But I can see the selling is stronger, much stronger than it was before. Jeff Bezos is getting a divorce. What? I think that they're implying that Jeff Bezos is getting a divorce because he thought his wife wasn't hot enough. And he saw the Twitter CEO had a hotter wife. That's what I think FX Macro was implying. See, now the sellers are pushing it here.
UK government defeated as Parliament approves a change to the Brexit procedure. The Parliament decision means the government will have 3 days to present the next steps on Brexit if PM May's deal is rejected.
Scott Adams says, if Hitler analogies didn't exist, what would people with no sensible argument do?
Versus 297. Fed's Evans' overall US economy is pretty good, but is decelerating. That's as he speaks in the Q&A. A reminder, we've got Fed's Rosengren up at 18:30 GMT. Speaking on Bloomberg. And 1900 Fed minutes.
Okay, so you could sell 21.5 for sure. The risk reward makes it acceptable. And you are seeing some sell action here. But is it enough?
The market solution for Banca Carige is preferable, but it's too early to say whether precautionary recapitalization is necessary.
And I have to say, Ace Trades. So you took some profits? I was just thinking, this Yemeni's not really going.
Saudi oil reserves, they're revised to 268.5 billion barrels versus 266.3 billion barrels. Still a rise nevertheless. Evans saying stock market valuations still in line with the growing economy.
You think that if this reverses, that it'll go down to my 17? My order that's still down there at 17? That seems awfully far down there now, doesn't it? If it did get back down to that 17, then you would really have to question what the whole up move was about, right? No idea what happened. Yeah, it's super weird. 21.5 was the sell. You would get a tick off of it. The E-mini is seeing a lot of buying. I think that's part of why we're moving down. So I think that we should be a little bit cautious because it appears to me that there is another force out there today other than just the E-mini correlation. Okay, here's the open.
Just comments here from Bosch. It says no urgency to make policy changes, just to run to a number. It says Fed should let the economy run for a while to see how it responds to the December rate increase. It says evolution of the economy should dictate the Fed's next move. It says hearing from businesses across the board that they have become cautious about 2019. It says comfortable hanging out near neutral while Fed takes stock of how economy is responding to higher rates. It says the Fed needs to signal strongly that it has not locked in a trajectory on rates.
Okay.
Policy, it also says policy could move in either direction, open to rate cut if downside risks to all come to bear. No urgency to make policy changes, adjust to run to a number. Sorry, that one's a repeat. UK Brexit Minister Barclay here says whatever the outcome of this debate on Brexit deal, government will respond rapidly.
So you see
Just to repeat that Bosic one then, policy could move in either direction, open to rate cut if downside risks to all come to bear.
I definitely saw the potential risk reward and signal to take it at 21.5, but there's still this context of this huge up move, and why would we have that huge up move? And a large portion of the move was somebody squeezing it. So it seems a little odd to me that you would squeeze it all up to 22 and then just be done with your trade, you know? Normally on a day like this, I would expect to see it go and go and go until a absolute monster of an iceberg holds it at a particular level. Well, and there you go. Now the E-mini sold a little bit. Maybe they're going to try and push to the 75 now, and that could push us up to a past this 22. So that's the other thing. So we still have these kind of two buy-side
Evans
forces.
Here, consumer has been a strong point in the economy in 2018.
Yeah. So you got that. Then on the downside, you have that sellers did come in, and you could see a potential head fake sort of thing here. So got to watch that too. Which is to say that buying 22.5 could really blow up in your face. Well, they still seem willing to sell it at 22. ZF did not make a new high there. None of them did, actually. They're all just kind of like right there on the edge. Well, ZF already backed off of it. See here, probably an iceberg now at 22. Yeah, how long has that been there though? Yeah, that's one that big order at 146 has been there for a while. You know, there always tends to be a big order at the zero, so I don't know if that one's significant. And the sell side liquidity in ZN above us is, well, let's reset it, is the high, the overnight high. ZF is still quite a ways away from the overnight high, and okay. Somebody really wants to sell it here. He's pulling his orders and letting it go bid, and then almost immediately selling everything that gets bid. Well, the E-mini never took the dive. Not yet, at least. They didn't break the upside of that range either, though. They're kind of close to the edge, though. You could see some buyers come in here and just, you know, knock it out of the park here. $4.97, are you kidding me? Well, that was not as spectacular as I was hoping. That was not as spectacular as I was hoping. But since I didn't get filled, the trend today has been that it's gonna just like go. Okay. Nope. To me here, it looks like the treasuries are kind of watching the E-mini to see what it's going to do. And there's not a lot of people like actively looking to sell it at 20.5 yet. It looks like the sellers are kind of still like me, thinking that they can get a better price. Yeah. And in fact, here the E-mini goes back into that range, and treasuries are right back up there. think that my order at 21.5 is going to get filled, so I'm going to try and buy here. Okay, the level 2 is getting awfully fidgety. Okay, good.
Saudi and energy oil minister here says oil and gas reserves bigger than announced.
Seeing 3,400, 3,600 stack on the offer is not good for this. E-mini seems to be having a really hard time with this level. Like normally when you would come over the ledge, the volume ledge like that, you would hold it really well and go, aha. And now they really came down and they're pushing down, but the treasuries are not buying it. In fact, somebody's still sold. Treasuries still sold it. I think there's going to be more in that. Okay. The inside bids and offers are becoming extremely unreliable. Okay. So there's the E-mini. Now trying to make it through the bottom of that range. Sellers in the E-mini looking a lot stronger than the buyers. Okay, there's the buy. Not a huge bid at 21. Not a huge bid at 21. There we go. Nobody's buying 21.5 yet. Oh, thank you. Whoever that was there that just put in that two lot to buy, thank you.
Usually have relative small effect on real economy.
Yes, but we've never had a shutdown that went further than 21 days. Keep the government shut down for 3 months, then see what happens. Come on.
Saudis for Lee here says announced oil and gas reserves don't represent all resource.
See, they're stacking 2000s on it, but then it's only like 200 contracts to move it. Well, that's a strong buy in the E-mini in a place that it should not be.
Felius and announced reserves don't include probable reserves.
Right now, yeah, sorry, I forget what comment did I make there that prompted that question. Oh no, to see the cumulative delta in the E-mini. So when you have cumulative delta and you have a peak of some sort, there is a tendency to either come to half or to completely retrace that cumulative delta. Because it's like all the traders get in and all the traders get out. And so for them to have kind of busted the range and for sellers to be making some significant progress there, and then to see like as quick of a buy up there as we got is a little unusual. But then it gave up on it almost just as quickly. So we're still in an uncertain area. And there's some people buying this right here, thinking that order is gonna. They'd probably go and fill that order, but it looks like they're playing off of that order.
Saudi cost of reduction is about $4 a barrel.
Man, so loud. Okay, yep, he did. Now the thing here is that we were kind of in this spot when I got the fill. They're not buying 21.5. So I really need to see a strong uptick to not want to get out at break even. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. So there's the E-mini made another strong push down. See? So you have all of these longs. They're going to want to wash them out. Frankly, could probably get 22. That was a strong... Well, yeah. I wouldn't say... I mean, I want to answer any question that's there for sure, right? But if you ask a question, though, you probably want to be like as... a very nice ace. So had you been short that whole time, or did you just happen to take one there? But anyways, I'm saying if you ask a question, it's probably best to be like as verbose as possible, verbose and specific as possible. You know what I mean? So when you say right now, you say, is such and such and such a thing happening right now? Or what is it that you're seeing that makes you feel that X is happening? Right? Got a point before the opening and then got back in. Ah. Interesting. Okay, well, there's your move in the E-mini. Now I don't know if it's going to go for more or not. You know, cumulative delta in ZN is not moving up. So I'm going to have to say that most of all of that drama we just saw was just trading off of the correlation and not the big trend that we had earlier.
Be 60,000 to 100,000 at this point in the US economic expansion.
So it still kind of comes back to what pushed us up here. Because that was an awfully strong push. And it's not too hard for them to go offer, is it? Sorry. It's not too difficult for them to go bid at 22. 22 half. I guess if we saw a strong bid at 22 half, that would be kind of more significant. 5-year made a new high by a tick. Okay, somebody's still willing to sell it there. Look at the cumulative delta in the E-mini now. This right here, this area I'm highlighting. So we had a big move down. Oops. It moved. We had a big move down, but you didn't see that in the cumulative delta.
So we are just under 10 minutes now until the top of the hour and the Bank of Canada rate decision, where they are expected to remain unchanged at 1.75%. The range though is 1.75% to 2%. Just looking at a note here from TD, they say we expect the Bank of Canada to hold the overnight rate steady at 1.75%, and which is already fully priced into the markets. They say the bank will have to acknowledge recent developments in the energy sector and financial markets, but will try to strike a balanced tone as the longer term forecast is largely intact. They say they expect just a modest downward revision to 2019 growth and look for Polos to reiterate that the policy rate will need to move back to the neutral range depending on the data, of course.
Okay, well, the E-mini, when cumulative delta really took off there, didn't it? I'm thinking that the E-mini might blow out the top here now. They're getting a pullback here. Yep. Good. When the orders sell into 21, the bid pulls. They didn't quite make a new high there yet. They're like 3 ticks away from it. Very, very likely to go now. Oh yeah. I think all traders like to help new people because I think that they remember the experience of being new and feeling like they had no clue what was going on, you know, and they want to try and alleviate that trouble for the other people as much as possible. And I also think that us retail guys are a little lonely because you sit and you watch this thing for 2 hours, and it is fucking stressful. I mean, no doubt about that, right? Trading is stressful, man. Sitting here being in something and not knowing if it's actually going to go, and it's like a total battle with yourself, and that constant battle of self-control and emotions and everything is stressful. So you trade all day, and then you get out and you want to talk to your wife about it, and like my wife, she listens, but like, come on, she doesn't really care. Come on, they're just normal people, aren't into this stuff, and so you're never seeing people face to face that understand anything about what you're going through, so when you meet somebody online that's about to have this experience, there's just a natural desire to want to help them, I think. That's a good downtick. I'm glad I pulled. That I tell you what, that volume spike buying was what it's been a long time since I've seen a signal like that, of that nature, in the E-mini. That was strong buying. Ooh. Okay, so normally it's selling, them trying to clear it there like that would be like, okay, somebody's taking profits and maybe I need to get out, but it's fighting it. That could mean that we're good for some more. And the context of it is really interesting because we got above the VWAP, but we didn't really stay there for very long. So now, are they fighting to get back to the VWAP? Only my third stream watching. Do you only trade ZN and only one lot? Do you trade other markets? They're like ES with a bigger position size? No. So I've messed around with the E-mini. If you go back like October, November, when things were really crazy, I did take some trades in the E-mini. And for a while I did really good. But ultimately,
so we're just 3 minutes
decided that it was not for me.
And the Bank of Canada rate decision, well, they are expected to keep rates unchanged at 1.75%.
So it looks like that the buyers did win out there at 20.5. Now that we're stacking some stuff, I think that we should take this off, especially since we've got like 3 minutes to the Bank of Canada thing, and I don't want to be in when that happens. But yeah, the E-mini just certainly doesn't match my risk tolerances, So I didn't trade it, but we watch it, and we're pretty good at knowing where it's going to go. It's just kind of like, if I bought it there because I saw that spike, that would have been a really great trade, right? Like, sitting here listening to me talk about it is like, oh man, this guy like really knows where the E-mini is going to go. That was like a really good prediction. Why didn't he trade it in the E-mini? Well, the problem is that even though I might have a good idea of where it's going in the midterm, it's impossible for me to know what a acceptable risk price is to take, because I might have ended up buying 285, 2583, and then getting stopped out on this move down or something like that, so there's the edge that I see in treasuries, like the way that I look at it is like, I can tell you things about certain prices, right? 21.5 is a relatively balanced price. you have to pick your poison. Who do you want to give your money to? Right? I'm telling you, them equity traders are much meaner. I always joke, like, man, it sure seems like it came down, so I sold, and then right where I sold was where they decided to turn it on its head, and it's like they're just trying to screw me, and they must be watching the stream, and they totally did it there just to mess with us. But the truth is that the people that trade in treasuries are so big. Even if I had 10,000 people watching us, it wouldn't matter to them. That's the size that they trade. You know? They're just, you're talking about guys that can trade 30, 50,000 contracts. And then when you get into like foreign
Bank of Canada
funds,
keep interest rates unchanged. The Bank of Canada cites considerable uncertainty over future path of Canadian oil prices output. The impact of oil price decline on Canada expected to be 1/4 the size of that during 2014-2016 crude slump. Canada says the lower Canadian dollar plays an important role in facilitating the economy's adjustment to the oil price shock. Says decline in oil prices since last summer would be expected to cut Canadian GDP by 5% by end of 2020, all else being equal. Bank of Canada sees increasing signs the US-China trade conflict is hitting global demand and commodity prices.
it seems like at almost any point in the E-mini, you can always pick up 2 ticks either way. Yeah. Well, I mean, it changes, but right now, yeah.
Over time reference to rate normalization.
You can typically get at least a point just because of the amount of noise. But the problem with that is that if you're wrong, you're going to have this run against you, and you're going to get a lot of slippage. See, the part of my edge here.
Says overall Canadian inflation rate expected to edge down further and be below 2% for much of 2019 on lower gas prices. Says global economic expansion is continuing to moderate and US growth expected to slow to more sustainable pace in 2019.
Part of my edge in ZN is that I can tell you things about specific prices, right? This 20 right now, people are a little hesitant to sell into it. And it's been like that for a while. Like, we came down there and we stopped, we moved up, now we're back down here. We might actually go down through a little bit more now. But the point is, they're a little reluctant to sell 20, and there's probably a good chance that there's going to be 2,000 to 3,000 that will trade there if they do go through it.
GDP forecast to 1.3% from 2.3% and sees Q1 at 0.8%. Cuts overall 2019 GDP forecast to 1.7% from 2.1% and sees modest amount of excess capacity opening up.
If it wasn't for the E-mini just, having a pretty strong buying spree here,
Saudi Energy Minister
I would consider buying
the oil market.
20.5. Now on the other side, they really don't want to trade 22.5, do they? They've traded 22 a few times. I think it's even gone bid at one point, but they've only traded 8,000 there. Last time we traded there, they only traded 9. And you could see that as it ticked up, you could just see the way that the level 2 reacted and the way that it ticked and everything, that it was like, it was going to be hard to trade 22.5. So I know at that point, like, okay, if 22.5 is able to go bid and they're able to stack a bunch on it, then you would have a very, very high probability of revisiting the high of the day, or the overnight high. Just because of that, because there was a bunch of people that did not want to buy it there, or there was like no buyers, and if it breaks that level, maybe more buyers would come in, and people would get stopped out of their trades and stuff, right? That's kind of the edge here. In the E-mini, there's so much activity, any price that you see like that is almost guaranteed to have somebody go through it. Like the E-mini is very, very aggressive at hunting stops. Because when they get stops, they get these huge runs, and so there's like a huge incentive for them to do it. Whereas in the Treasuries, the incentive to hunt stops like that isn't as high.
Of OPEC Plus output cuts have already impacted the market.
Because to do it, you have to have a ton of money to start with, right? And then if you do stop it, you maybe get one or two ticks.
The oil market will stabilize soon, and says we are serious about stabilizing the oil market.
And so the overall result is that you can look at a price and see something about that price, and it's much more reliable. And so I can set my risk. I could go long at 20.5 and say, well, it really shouldn't go 19.5 really shouldn't go offer. You know. Sometimes you get this thing like my first trade of the day, where it went bid and it does it in a way that was unexpected.
And trade talks with China, we are looking into this.
Might indicate that it might flip around on you, and of course it doesn't. There was somebody there was really willing to buy.
Saw 600,000 barrels a day of oil output cut in December.
Anyways, so that's why I only trade the E-mini. Or sorry, I only trade ZN. And I'm keeping it to one lot. There's no reason to go multiple lots. I don't want to put that much capital at risk.
Saudi Arabia aims to help manage oil fluctuations.
No. If I had a $10,000 account, maybe I would trade
trade talks in Beijing. US-China discuss fairness and reciprocity, the US says.
But, yeah. So this 20.5 is acting fairly balanced, but it's staying bid a lot easier, and that offer 21 is pulling a lot. So I do kind of see buyers seem to have a little bit of a slight edge here at 20.5. There doesn't seem to be a huge desire to sell into 20.5 right now. And the move down still appears to be related mostly to the E-mini. And with the E-mini going down here, I think that we could see a little bit of up. Well, okay, there you go. It's already up there, right? Should have bought 20.5.
And US trade here saying China pledged to buy more US agriculture and other goods.
I wonder if they're going to go for that high again or not.
Seeing the US officials conveyed desire to cut China trade deficit.
This is the kind of area that I think is the hardest to trade. Because you get this sort of a thing, you know? Are they going to give up and come back down here? Or are they consolidating and are going to push higher? Kind of is a question of why did it move up here in the first place? But, because somebody was squeezing it up there. But I've had many times where I thought, okay, and I sell it here, and then it just busts your stop. And I've had many times where I've bought it down here, and it just never goes, It's hard to tell. I will say, though, it appears to me, just from the cumulative delta here, that whatever was with all of that buying, that they are out.
US-China discussed need for any trade agreement to include ongoing verification and effective enforcement.
Shouldn't say they are out, but there's enough volume, opportunity that they could have gotten out if they wanted to. Also, there was some significant selling in ZF here. That was about when the E-mini was really breaking out, so. Yeah. Hmm. Auction day favors a down open. Not so good if it's up, for what it's worth. Okay. Good luck. Right. I think I'm going to stay away from it until it shows us something more significant. Just based on the fact that it's an auction day means that you're better off buying. I don't know what the deal was with me there when I sold 18.
English trade hand talks included structural changes in China on technology transfer, intellectual property protection, and non-tariff barriers.
To have gotten one favorable tick and then it go against me two, I should have gotten out right there. Especially since the auction, like the overall daily trend stuff was telling me up. Why would I hold on to a short? It should be the other way around. Like when I bought, it went against me for a while. Well, if we were to buy, I think it would have to be at 21.
In the US delegation will now report back to receive guidance on the next steps.
That would be, at least, that would be the optimal balance between risk, reward, and ability to get filled. 20.5 is kind of very questionable now at this point, given that there's almost 6K there. All right, well. I mean, I got 15 minutes left. It may still give us one. Just watching for a buy signal. The E-mini is starting to look a little negative to me. There you go. Okay, so now you're to the 22.5 again. Ooh. It's pulling. I'd have to assume that anybody that's there with an offer at 22.5 is probably anxious about getting filled, though. But that's exactly the kind of spot where they get filled and then we could move through them. Okay. I don't know. It feels really tempting to buy 22.5 right now. Look at that. Only 943 to clear it. That's a little unexpected. I think now we have a pretty good chance of visiting the high. I'm a little unsure about buying this here though. I don't know. It's a strong bid. I don't know how you get filled, you know? Oh, he took 19. I don't know. Okay. Okay. That was good. That was a good fill. You want more? What? Come on. Yeah, when it ticks down, they buy it back up almost immediately. And we have now remembered this was 8,000 and now it's 15. So there is now a lot more interest at 22.5. That is a strong indication that we might get some more. This is a shitty location risk reward wise, but I think that the probability is really good. 24. Peter's saying 24 went bid, and when it ticked down, there was 800 on the offer. I think that they're going to clear this 23.
We are just 10 minutes away now from the bottom of the hour and the weekly EIA oil data. Crude stocks looking for a draw of 2.800 million against a prior build of 0.007 million. The range is a draw of 4.500 million against a build of 1.382 million. Distillates looking for a build of 1.889 million against a prior build of 9.529 million. The range is a draw of 2 million to a build of 5.500 million. Cushing looking for a, well, no estimates, but a prior of a build of 0.641 million. Gasoline looking for a build of 3.387 million against a prior build of 6.890 million. The range a draw of 2 million to a build of 5 million. Also get refinery utilization looking prior estimates here of
3,000 iceberg at 22.5 is impressive.
The range minus 1.2% to 1.8%. Just looking at last night's API data, crude coming in at a draw of 6.127 million, Cushing coming in at a build of 331,000, distillates coming in at a build of 10.2 million, and gasoline coming in at a build of 5.05 million.
They're building a good bit at 23. They could totally hit it. I think it depends a little bit more on the 5-year though. And the 5-year is not, if there's some mean reversion coming in here, then the 5-year is going to have trouble pushing higher unless we really, really move to spread. This one is kind of interesting because it was a new high and they just kind of quietly bought a lot on the limit. Okay, now they went through and they're able to offer up to 3,000 at one point. So in this kind of situation, we want to see it go back bid easily. Also would like to see some selling in the E-mini. Okay. So 3,000 bought, 19,000 sold. And this was like 2,000 before, right? Ah. Okay. Seeing this price go back and forth a little bit more. Although they are stacking more on the offer than on the bid when it ticks down. And that 23 is not. See, this sell to me in ZB doesn't quite make sense with the spread. Like if the spread was going to mean revert, then they would want to be buying it, mostly buying. So they would want to be having icebergs down here or something like that. Which could mean that the spread is going to move further. No, they went off for 22 now. E-mini's still holding. Okay, there's big iceberg at 10 3/4 in the 5-year. Okay. Okay, there was a little bit more significant drop there in the E-mini, and they all ticked up. Now they're going to try and make that 11 go bid. Hope. Maybe. Maybe. Come on, it's 500 contracts. Just do it. Just do it, bro.
So we're just under 3 minutes now until the bottom of the hour in the EIA weekly oil data. Crude stocks looking for a draw of 2.800 million. Distillates looking for a build of 1.889 million. Cushing prior build of 0.641 million. Gasoline stocks a prior build of 3.387 million. That's the estimate that we're looking for, and the refinery utilization we are looking for minus 0.3%.
Level 2 here is flipping, and the 10-year is ticking up and down. So I think that people are definitely watching the 5-year here. Oh, it's really pulling there at 11.
Saudi Energy Minister is saying we are concerned about the volatility in the oil market, and says not overly concerned about rising oil inventories now after the OPEC Plus cut deal.
If that trades up and it's like takes 200 to clear or something like that, that's when you got to be like, okay. Okay. So it ticked up, then it ticked back down a couple of times, and it's 400. Now they're building to 800 to 1,000. Yep, here they're gonna hit it now. So if they hit it, you're gonna see this stuff at 23.5 is gonna trade very quickly. If it's a true level break, that's what you're going to see.
Oil production at 10.2 million barrels per day now.
You're going to see about 3,000 market buy orders in the 5-year.
Sufficient to balance market. 1 minute.
Seems like that tick up wasn't quite enough to really like stop people out. EIA report is an oil thing, and it shouldn't really matter to us. JPY is really rallying, by the way. Currencies are really pushing it. Oil has been rallying all morning, too. Oil could
Saudi
get
Energy Minister
really
says oil
wild
exports
here.
projected at 7.2 million barrels a day in January and 7.1 million barrels per day in February.
So 24 was where we saw the stack, right? Yeah. And now that it's not 800.
10 seconds. That's a draw of 1.680 million for crude stocks there. Distillates coming in at a build of 10.661 million. Cushing coming in at a build of spot 330 million, and gasoline coming in at a build of 8.066 million. Refinery utilization coming in at minus 1.1%. Just to repeat that then, crude stocks coming in at a draw of 1.680 million.
Okay, so there it is in the ZF 2000. 1000 to clear 11.5, so maybe that level break setup is already
Here says we are not targeting a specific oil price.
just when I was giving up on it, they did it. I think that's gonna go again. Look at the E-mini. Ooh. Some good stops there. We're going to see, I mean, there's going to be at least 5,000 here at 24. But you can get so much volume here. I think we could still potentially get filled at 24.5, maybe even further than that. And did it make a new high? Yes. No, not quite. Okay. Gonna have to pull that one. Put it there. So my thinking here is that when you get stops and you get big profit-taking icebergs, they are often able to go for 2 more ticks. Nope.
Saudi Energy Minister here says we will continue to monitor oil market and inventory levels.
Okay. So this 26 is likely. Let's not say likely, let's say probable.
Police saying it will take time to reach market stability.
There is profit taking here for sure. But look, it's holding. Okay, I don't see any targets showing up above us other than the evens. New low for the day in the E-mini. Yeah, it's about to do it, I think. I think that the low is still way down there, but yeah, it's 68, but it's probably gonna go. I mean, they did not like what they heard there in oil, did they? I've never seen the EIA report affect equity indexes like that. Never seen that. This must have been one of those glitches the POTUS mentioned. Oh, for this morning session, yes. Yes. I think that move right there was significant, and and you still have people to wash out. I think it's pretty likely we'll get a new overnight low. I'm just trail stopping it from 25.85, 20. Do you really stop it from 25? That's great, dude. Oh man, that's some bank. That's some bank. I'm impressed, dude. You need to. So I was thinking about this the other after yesterday. I was like, Ace Trades, he always tends to just get his little one, and every once in a while he does get a runner. But like, when does he get screwed over? Like, it has to happen, and maybe he just doesn't tell us. Like, so when you get screwed over, you got to make sure that you tell us so that we know that the situation that is hard for you. But yeah. Okay, they're giving some up. I think this is still kind of holding. That's kind of interesting. It's all gravy, I just only need my 2 points. Right. Yeah, I guess so. Well, this kind of sucks because you got too many people long right now. Okay, well, yeah. Too many people long right now, so it's hard to get out. Even though I think that we could break the 26, but I think this swing is over for me at least. Well, where was the break though? It was like at 24 half, 24. I think we're okay. Could you maybe even put that there? Let's just put that there. So I think we're gonna move more, but I'm not willing to wait forever, because I got to go into work in about 20 minutes. So yeah. Even he's not done yet. No way. There's way too much long cumulative delta there that I think needs to come out. Oh, come on. Okay, well, so now it's coming back to the overnight high, essentially. It sucks because look at how much was on hit back into the bid, or sorry, look at how much hit into the offer on the way back down, right? There was no way you could get filled on offer. You had to mark it out. So if you weren't one of the 3,000 that marketed out at 25 half, now maybe that we're back to the overnight high, we can see some buyers. Yeah, good. Work for 8 hours for the man. Well, I feel like, so like, let's say that I started doing really, really well and I made more than enough money to just live full-time off of trading. I think that I would probably start to get a little crazy and weird if I didn't, have to like going to work or had somewhere that I was supposed to be every day. You know what I mean? I'm not like the go out everywhere and hang out with people type, you know? It would become a hermit. So I think that it would be nice, even if I was like super rich, to still have like a casual afternoon job or something. That's why I keep saying I would like to have an alpaca farm, and that would be great. But they would need to be something to do with people. couldn't just have my only social interactions be with alpacas. There is that. It's pretty lonely at times. Yeah. Well, that's why we've got this stream, guys. It's great.
Bank of England's Carney here says it's likely that we will ultimately have a reserve currency other than the US dollar.
Oh, jeez. Don't say things like that. This drama. You know what? I, as far back as I can remember, really, like my whole adult, well, like since I've been in high school and since I've been reading on the internet and talking to people and talking politics, people have always been talking about when the world is going to stop using the US dollar as the reserve currency. When they stop buying oil with dollars, then the dollar is going to collapse and all of our financial woes were going to come down on our heads. And I've always been like, well, that's silly. Because in times of panic, where do people go? They go to the United States dollar. Well, I saw a news story out yesterday that that India, I think it was buying oil in rupees. Or that day they had made transactions in rupees. Ah, you're going somewhere for the weekend.
Carney says expects further reserve currencies will be existing national currencies such as China's renminbi.
Isn't it like too cold to go somewhere in an RV? Well, I guess maybe you go to warmer weather. It's pretty cold down south too, though. I was looking at the charts early, like when it was really, really cold, like late last week, I think it was. Before this storm came in and warmed things up. That funny snowstorm warms things up. And they were like in negative degrees down in like southern Colorado. It was crazy. Yeah, see, E-mini is now ready for its next push. Okay. I think now I can safely just pull that. No such thing as bad weather, only bad gear. Yeah.
In their current form are not promising as a form of money, let alone as a global currency.
Listen, when it comes to weather and that sort of a thing, it's always better cold. Well, cold weather is harder to deal with, right? Like if you're in a war, you would prefer it to be boiling hot than to be freezing cold. The freezing cold just kills people's morale. You know. But you are right that when it's cold, there are things you can do about it. Okay, so there was a 5K order there, 25 half, and only 1260 to trade it. Yeah, this is going for more.
Just make everyone aware, Carney is speaking. It's an online Q&A, so people have submitted questions to him, and he is responding to them.
Look at the E-mini go. E-mini's selling hard. Okay. Somebody's still willing to jump on it at 26. That's interesting. That might have just been a really aggressive profit taker, though. Look at that. Who am I at war against those old guys on the golf course in St. George? Is that where you're going, is St. George? I don't think there's snow down there. I'm just saying that you're gonna like, unless you're going like, cross country skiing. I don't know if there's any tropical paradise out there waiting. Okay, 7,000 at 26 concerns me. Okay. Well, they cleared it.
Fed's Evans here says still expects 3 US rate hikes in 2019 if his forecasts are met. Says timing for policy tightening not all that important. Says very good time to wait to see how data plays out and watches political development. Says policy setting now at a pretty good place and US outlook good, no clear inflation pressure. Says financial tightening not yet apparently hurting the US consumers and December's job report extremely strong.
Yeah, should have kept it. So when I saw that 7K there, I was like, well, that could be a rate lock, and I don't want to see like 15K trade there and then it not go through. So I took it off, but I should have stuck to my original plan and taken it off at 27. Yeah. They might give you another chance for it. They might pull back a
Evans
little
and
bit
inflationary
too.
pressures are not evident.
So there's the overnight low. Oh, okay. I would love that 3-day weekend, but kids are in school. Then there's that. Just jump on any old plane and go any old place just for fun packing. And buy what you need when you get there. I need to find I need to find a better way for cheap hotels. I've been looking at like Airbnb, but when I look at Airbnb, I'm not quite seeing quite the cheap that I want. Like, because for me, it's like $100 a day to stay somewhere is not worth it. But because I can fly anywhere I want, you know. Oh yeah, did you see her in the background? I had her trade, and I think she's actually better suited to it than me. But she just the schedule doesn't quite work out for her. So maybe at a later time she will do it, and I'll make her stream it. Because I keep telling her, and I'm like, if you did it, you'd be super popular. But maybe it's better. Maybe it's better that way. Gonna need proof average high-low range before auction versus any other day. um, Anyways. I have to say, man, I really wish that I had gotten filled at 17. Fuck, man. I could have taken 17 to probably 20, probably 21 half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ticks there. And then this one, again.
Kindly reiterating the future Bank of England rate hikes to be limited and gradual.
And then I think I still might have caught that run. I have to say though, I was really uncertain. And then Peter reminded me, well, it's an auction day. We tend to move up, and we've had 3 up days, and so there's a statistical edge there. It was kind of there in the back of my mind, but I feel like he was the one that gave me the confidence to take that one. Of the 40 auctions, 55% closed higher. Yep. Yeah, there you go. 55% isn't well, I guess that's like 21 out of 20 out of 40. How do I put this? Anyways, I guess I should cancel that order. That was the whole point of going into that. Yeah. It was an academic paper. I don't need to look at the average high-low range before auction versus any other day. I know from sitting here that most times they will be running prices up. It doesn't always happen, but it is a typical move. Yeah, well, that might be true. But since the election. Ah, Yeah, better to look at the time they closed the bid process for the auction. Work your stats based on that. It'd be good. You'd see it, Peter. It is. There is a real edge there in the auction process. I mean, it's so much so about the cycle of everything. Anyways, I've focused on that way too much. I got to get running. So I got really fucking lucky, I think. Well, I mean, I'm pretty proud of this. This was a big mistake, but I was able to overcome it, so it's cool. So we're still doing really great this month, but there was a little bit of luck there. A little bit of luck that we actually did yet a move that strong and that I was actually in it that allowed us to overcome that mistake. So I will see you guys tomorrow.